Hi guys, I'm Stefan. Some of you guys may know me from TTA, and today we're gonna do an outlook on the market, on some dollar pairs, some cross pairs, also some yen pairs you will see in the video. And let's basically get started. So starting off on the dollar index, if you follow my updates channel on the Discord, you know that I am very bearish on the dollar. I mean, we still have like the bullish price action, but just fundamentally, I believe that they might let it pump to take out some highs, maybe this maybe too, but less likely, maybe like those highs, and then we will see a sharp drop just to lower the rates. Because number one, Kevin Walsh said that we want to keep inflation in check, and we probably are going to hike, like from his tone. But he is a very dovish guy, and he's known for being dovish. And secondly, inflation will come back down naturally after the war is over, because the situation right now in Iran and US is that we have a peace agreement. That means that the inflation from those energy prices will come naturally down. And it can be the case that we pump up the price of the dollar to get some more buys and get some more liquidity in it and more volume, and then they can like lean heavily in towards being dovish and then just keep on cutting and cutting and cutting. That's what I believe is very possible. And also they want to make the dollar weaker so they can export for a lower price, and like imports from the US for other countries become way more attractive because it's cheaper. Because the dollar, if the dollar is cheaper, they have to pay less money for those exports. And the second reason is why they could want to make it weaker. If the interest rates are lower, then it's good for businesses, because you will then need less percentage to give back to the bank, so you can just take money from the bank, so you can invest in more businesses and more business can start flowing and they can compete with China. So this is my outlook, but in the meantime I believe that we can see some strength on the dollar to take out those highs that I have talked about. And I would just stick to the 4-hour time frame and see that we have a breakout structure here. We get liquidity situated here and basically right here. And then I would look for a long from either of those two liquidity points. I would just wait for a change of character, or maybe just a nice swing trade from the 0.5 fib, just swinging it up. It's also very possible. Depends on your trading style. So keeping that in mind, I would also sell Euro USD, and I would sell it from this liquidity point and the 3 monthly open, which is a natural support and resistance line. So I would look for this pattern and then just sell it. Very simple. Looking at GBP USD, it's basically the same thing. We got the breakout structure here, we got liquidity right there, and then we got liquidity right here, and then I would just look for sales from here. Very straightforward. Now looking at the AUD, I wouldn't do nothing, because on the 4-hour it's a little bit consolidative. So we move up, take out this liquidity, then we move down, but this impulse is really strong because AUD really benefited from a risk of push that we had in the last couple of days on the US-Iran war. So I could also view this as an impulse right here, and then we could maybe see a choke and move up. Because it's so conflicting, I wouldn't stick to the 4-hour and maybe look at the daily, and the daily tells us a different picture. So we are bullish on the daily here. So if you want, like if it's your style and you want to do it, you could just swing it, but like this would definitely be valid. But for me, I would just wait for it to maybe touch the 3 monthly and then for the daily to switch, and then I would look for some longs inside of this box. Or if it even happens, if like the dollar pumps even more, to take out some more lows here, to use this as extra liquidity, maybe touch the yearly and then see a chalk, and then I would long it up. Then for NSD USD, it's basically the same thing as the AUD USD. We are bullish right here, we took liquidity, so like this is the impulse, and we would now look for the second impulse, and we had actually a change of character, so a change of character down and a change of character up, and now we liquidated the lowest point of liquidity inside of this new internal impulse, but the 4 hour time frame is still bearish. It even looks clean to see more sells, but with the strong NSD, I wouldn't really like to sell NSD against the dollar. If I want to long the dollar, I would do it on EU or GU, but I wouldn't do it on a strong pair that actively hikes and actively pursues like a higher interest rate like the NSD. So in this instant, I would just wait for the daily to switch and then look for some longs if it even happens. And then looking at USD CAD, USD CAD is really impulsive going towards the upside, but we just took out some liquidity above a swing high, and right now it's just a bit of a waiting game because we can see a retracement from here, but I wouldn't trade a retracement because it's not mandatory for it to happen. We can just look at maybe the 1 hour and just trade the impulse up higher. So you see that it was like squeezing it towards the upside, creating a lot of liquidity underneath those lows right here. So I would maybe just wait for it to liquidate, give a change of character, and if it gives us this pattern, then I would be happy to get along. But it's also possible that we maybe touch the monthly or retrace even deeper. Then looking at USD CHF, it's similar to USD CAD, but actually looks a little bit cleaner. So this is obviously the break, the 4 hour structure break. This is the liquidation before we made those break, which makes the low strong, and this is the swing high. So we got liquidity situated right here, just below the 3 monthly open, and just below the 0.5 fib, which makes this strong. So I would even like prefer to swing it from here for a nice 1 to 2. This would be definitely clean. Also combined with the fact that the Swiss franc, their government, want to maybe intervene or want to maybe possibly lower the rates because their currency is becoming way too strong. And also another fact is that when we are holding USD Swiss longs, we actually get paid for overnight holdings in the swaps. So that's another benefit why I like to trade this pair for longs. And now looking at the yen basket. So we got the intervention here, and then we hit this new intervention here, this little one, and then we just trickled down lower, but we saw some strength after a hike from the Japanese central bank, a 25 BP hike, and now we have this little trend going on. It's still messy, but fundamentally they want a stronger yen, and they could intervene at any time. So I believe like the fact that they want it just will move the prices a little bit higher, just of the fact, just of rumors. Now looking at USD yen, I believe we can see definitely a lot of more downside. Also with my bearish dollar bias over the long term and my bullish yen bias over the long term, I could definitely see us maybe going to 162 or 163, and then the Japanese government intervening, or just the dollar getting weaker or the yen getting stronger because of their policy shifts. It doesn't have to be an intervention. So I see a lot more downside on this one, like long-term play. And then looking at Euro Yen. Euro Yen we will skip because it's not clean. It's just going up, down, down. It's not very clean. Then EU50 is pretty simple. With our risk on push, stocks benefit from that. We have this break of structure right here. We took a lot of liquidity before forming, also liquidated this one before forming this low, swing high. Then we got liquidity situated below this point, below this point, and below this point. And from there I would look to buy or just swing it from this point. This will be definitely very clean. Oh, we also got liquidity under this point, I guess, so watch out, but those 2 points are already good enough. So then moving on to Germany 40. As you can see, I have 2 positions on this pair, and I'm swinging it up right now. I am just waiting for a breakout above the monthly, but it's looking well. It's not looking bad. If you didn't manage to capitalize on this move and didn't manage to get in on the swings or on the 4 hour before, maybe like here after the liquidation, then right now it's not very clean. It looks clean to go up, but it's hard to find an entry in this price action. So I would maybe just wait for liquidation of this if it even comes, and then to trade it up higher. But it's definitely possible that it just doesn't never retrace into these liquidity points and doesn't never just take them out. It can just go. So be careful on this one. Then looking at gold, we have a difficult price action. That's why I would skip it and wait for some more redevelopment. Then looking at USD SEK, if you have followed my updates channel on the Discord, you definitely saw this one and could maybe capitalize on this one with me on this long. But on the table are more longs. So basically this is the break of structure. We have liquidity situated here, also the 3 monthly open perfectly aligns, and I look for more longs after tapping the 3 monthly and taking out liquidity. Very simple. I don't like this pattern that we didn't liquidate this one like this low before going up higher, but it still looks clean and I would still take the trade. Looking at EUR/SEK, we are looking for some more longs as well, and actually looking at Forex fundamentals, it is actually the most bullish pair and the most trending pair of the fundamentals at this point. It's sitting at a strong plus 36, which also just supports my bias, and we can just look for more longs in this one. So we got like this break, we took out liquidity right here, and then we saw this change of character down, taking also liquidity with a fake breakout, then a change of character up. Now this is the internal impulse. We didn't reach the break of structure yet. So I would wait for like a little bit of a retracement to take out liquidity and then move up higher. It can be possible that it will just now go and never retrace, but if it breaks out and makes a new break of structure, then this will be the impulse, like this, from here to here, around like around there, like to the new swing high, and this liquidity point will be important, and this one as well. So it will be on both, like in this internal, and also if it switches, like if it makes a break of structure. So this will be like the same. You just need to wait a little bit more, and it's still very clean. Then looking at GBP AUD, we are actually eyeing up some more shorts because we have this break of structure down that took a lot of liquidity before, which makes it strong. And now we retraced a little bit right here, and we took out some more liquidity right there, and we touched the monthly, like around the monthly. It's not important to touch it exactly, but just around there is like this line, the support and resistance line, and we see a sell-off. So this is the break, like the internal break on daily. I just would wait for it to switch, then we see a retracement again into it, some form of liquidation, and then a sell. So this is what we have going on right now. Then looking at GBP NSD, it's looking messy. Everyone was looking for shorts, but it's just never coming. And we actually just broke the structure right here, and it's not looking very clean. I would wait for some redevelopment or for just some structure to form. So we obviously can just liquidate those 3 descending highs, which have a lot of liquidity above them, tap the yearly, and then maybe switch the trend and then go for shorts. So it's not necessary that we have shorts right now just because the GBP is weak and the NSD is strong. It can be like a repricing and then we move down. So moving on to AD USD, it's messy. I would wait for either this low to break or this high to break to confirm for me what's the new direction right now. So is it just a big liquidity break, just a big liquidity grab to then fuel some further shorts, or is it like a real break of structure? And it will be only told to me, like I could only tell it if we see another breakdown, if it's like a real shift and a real break of structure. So then we will be having a trend forming. Then looking at Euro AUD, it's similar to GBP AUD. We took out some liquidity above the highs on a retracement. This is the break of structure low. We took out liquidity here. We retraced into this supply zone, and now we are seeing some sell-offs. But this is still the break of structure in the internal. This is the low here, so I need to switch it before trading down. You could obviously be aggressive and still look for some shorts, like right here for example. So after like this break and on this liquidity point, to look for some shorts if you are aggressive, but I will just chill and wait. But it's also valid if you're a little bit more aggressive. It's possible. So with that in mind, thank you for watching, guys. If you have any questions, then feel free to comment on the video down below and ask them, or to reach out to me on the Discord or on Instagram and just ask them. And I would like for you to subscribe if you liked the video, and I'm out.